Happy Tuesday, Stratters. I hope today treated you well as yesterday. So we're going into Wednesday, so I wanted to give you my trade ideas for 5/11/2022. Okay, so to start with, what I wanted to do and talk very quickly is show some of the setups that the Discord bot has given us at the end of the day. We have some PMGs. Go ahead and take a screenshot if you're interested in some PMGs. The 2-down continuations, we have a lot of those. We have some 3 bars on the downside. So these are 3 bars that finished red on the day: AMC, BABA, Bank of America, Facebook, MCD, NEO, PayPal, so on and so forth. 3-1, that's going to be one of our plays, PG. Then we have some 2-down ones, so AMD, Love, Immune, NVIDIA, so the chips. And then we have some 2-up, the 1s, eBay, failed 2s, and a 1-2 down. These are just the things that we're tracking. So feel free to jump on the Discord. You can see these at the end of the day. We also have the intradays that come out too. So without further ado, let's switch over to the charting. Let's get rid of my face. And oh, right. So the first one that we're going to actually look at on the list was a failed 2 down. So we have the daily down here in the lower left-hand side. So the failed 2 down, we ended up with the green, right? That's going to be a failed 2 down. Didn't end up going, didn't really make it past the 50% mark on the day to give us that cool retracement for a probability of a 3. So that's kind of a bummer there, but let's see what tomorrow holds. So if you wanted to get into Oxy on a 2-2 reversal, that's what you'd be looking at now. You're going to look at over $60.23. That's going to be your entry on the upside of that, and your price target would be $63.26. So that is Oxy. Some of the other ones that I'm looking at, the Procter & Gamble setup was a 3-1. So let me remove the fibs there. We're not worried about those. So here's our 3-1 setup. So it was a 3 and then a 1 today. So what we're actually going to do is change those from a 1. So it's going to be a 3-1, 2 up if we go that direction. And then it'll be a 3-1, 2 down if we go the other direction. So what we're wanting to do is look at these numbers, look at the levels here. So under, sorry about this. So under 153.94, we're looking for a move to 152.75 and above 156.62. The price target would actually be the high of the 3 bar, so that's 156.76. That is super duper lame. So just keep in mind that there's going to be some potential resistance that you might have to deal with to bust through there to get to that price target. But if anything, I would just be playing the upside if there is any upside. There doesn't seem to be much upside lately, but play the upside tight. So my first actual price target would be 157.29, but I'd definitely be having a tight stop loss here entering that. So that's PG. So the next one on the list, so let's look at some 3 bars that we'd like to look at here. So NEO was a 3 on the day, again down here in the lower right-hand side, so or left-hand side. I wish I knew my directions better. So under $12.86, we're looking for that 2 down break. So the first price target would actually be $12.54 and then $11.73. Now NEO does have about $1.50, $1.60. Moved a little more today, so we could end up seeing it get down to below $12 in the $11.50 range, and down even maybe to 10 if we're seeing a lot of movement tomorrow. And then the upside, we have over 14.68 for a move to 15.81. So either a 2 up or 2 down. Now that's technically not really actionable strat setup, but keep an eye out for what's going on. That could be your start of a 3-2 reversal. So if you want to just keep an eye on, instead of getting in, see whether it goes 2 up or 2 down, and then look out for what the next day holds. So that is NEO. Another one that we're going to be looking at that's a straight up 3 bar is Facebook. Now, the only reason I really like Facebook is because there's this gap fill down here below 192.90. All the way down to 181.21. So if we do end up going a 2 down, so a 3-2 down on the daily underneath 194.19, and then we do break below 192.90, like I said, we have a gap to fill. That's why I'm looking at Facebook. I'm not really looking at it from the upside. It's still too early in the week for me to really say, like, I like this idea on a small account. But on the downside, that's a pretty big magnitude potential move there to fill that gap. So that is why Facebook is on my list. Next one there, another 3 bar is going to be Bank of America. So just like we looked at with NEO, Bank of America has entry on the downside underneath 35.18 for a move to 34.68. Now, when I made that, I mean, let me scroll over this way some for you just to show you what ended up happening here. I picked the next level down. The next daily level. So that was all the way back in February 26th of 2021. That is where that level came from. And as you can see, we have a lot of quick green movement up over here. So a lot of little support areas after that, but I just wanted to point that out so you can kind of see where that level came from. It's out there from almost over a year ago. So again, underneath 35.18, we were moving down to 34.68, 34.37, 34.18. And we're also coming to the bottom of broadening formation that seems to be respected pretty well. So that is something to keep in mind. The upside play would be the 3-2 upside, so over 37.13 for a move to 37.62. Not very huge, but in terms of Bank of America, a 50-cent move is a little less than half of its ATR in a day. So those are the quick 3-bar plays that I'm looking at. The next one is a pivot machine gun on the daily, and it is CCL. Now, again, part of my strategy during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, is trading things that are on the Dow, the ones with the cheaper contracts that move slower, but they can be lucrative if you take them in quick hits. Your 20 or 30% gains. Get out, take your profit, do it again, do it again, do it again, so on. So that's why what you're looking at is a bunch of this stuff to where it's nice and cheap. So what we're doing is looking at a 2-2 reversal for CCL. Why? Because the pivot machine gun. We could continue to go down, make another lower high, and then continue that pivot machine gun. But when we look at a pivot machine gun, we want a 2-2 reversal, and we want to start taking out all of these places where the shorts have their stops. So again, the 2-2 reversal over $15 for a move to 15.62, for a move to 16.56, for a move to 17.54. Now, the likelihood that it takes out all of those in one day, not very probable. With an ATR of about $1, if we get over 15, we're lucky to make it to 16. So we could at least take out the $15.62 range. So and these do run in 50-cent increments. So if it gets over 15.03, you could get a 15.50 call and be looking at the upside play from there. Downside under 13.82, some pretty solid support. Again, back in the day, we're going all the way back to last year or so. This is actually 2 years ago, November of 2020. So we're going deep in the pockets there for some support. Okay, next on the list is Apple. Why? Well, we were just talking about a 2-2 reversal potential. Apple actually had one today, and why that's of interest to me? Well, it's of interest to me because it might actually still go up. We could see the continuation. If Apple goes up, we're probably going to see SPY and QQQ go up as well. It's heavily weighted on those indexes. So entry over 156.74 for a 2-2 continuation to 159.44. Now, I don't play 2-2 continuations. What I'm looking for is a break of the daily level to show me that there's some sentiment to move to the upside. So then after I break that level or I see the break, then I'm going to start looking for an actual entry on a smaller time frame, like a 15-minute, a 30-minute. Looking at 2-2 reversals into timeframe continuity or a 2-1-2 into timeframe continuity. So we come up, we get a little pullback, and then once we're going back up into timeframe continuity, that's when I'd be looking at a play. Downside, exact opposite. I'm still looking for it into timeframe continuity, but it drops, it comes back up, and then when it's dropping back down, that's when I'd be looking at getting into a play. But the magnitude on the downside, we have 152.93. The first price target is going to be 150.149. So not a big move when it comes to Apple, considering it moves about $5.50 a day. So you could be looking at something from 152 all the way down to 150 easily, 148 easily too. So those are levels to be aware of there. Now, what you see with these orange bars, something I'm experimenting with is some past three levels. So this was a 3-bar on the daily. I'm just curious if that actually has any relevance, since it technically hasn't been taken out yet on the downside. So that is what we are looking at there with those orange lines that I've drawn. All right, so let's see. CCL, Apple, Bank of America, Facebook, NEO, EG. So last but not least, we're always going to do this, the SPYs and the QQQs. What do? Well, we have some more 2-down continuations. We did get some buyers that eventually stepped in. But it still doesn't look too pretty in terms of SPY moving to the upside, but maybe we will. So over 406.41 for a move to 414.80. That is going to be the first price target. And then on the downside, well, we're going to be looking at, let's see, Wouldn't actually draw my line there. So we're going to be looking at under 394.82 for a move down to 390.29. Again, those yellow lines are some previous 3 bars. You'll see the, let me go ahead and remove those. Actually, I'll leave them there. But you'll see the broadening formation that I have down here. So if we kind of line it up, we're looking at like 386, 390 area. Now, 400 is a pretty solid level for SPY. It seems to have some pretty decent support there. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so then we have QQQ. Again, let's see. So QQQ did a 2-1 on the daily, so we're looking at a 2-1-2 down or a 2-1-2 up. Again, your entry is going to be the high or the low of the 1 bar. Your price target is going to be the high or low of the 2 bar. So the south side, if we were to play the downward move, the actual Strat defined price target is going to be 295.72 when your entry is just under 296.57. That's not a big move. So what do? Well, let's go to the next price target. Again, keep a tight stop loss, knowing that you could hit that price target in reverse, because that's exactly why we have price targets. They usually are a place of support or resistance. So keep your stop loss tight. But then we have a move down to 289.63. And wow, I mean, you never know. Like we could actually end up hitting that pretty quickly. So that's the downside. The upside play over 305.76 for a move to 309.35 and then 315.09. So again, I have the monthly, the weekly, and the 4-hour up. I wouldn't really worry too much about the 4-hour, but I have these up now because I want you to understand what sentiment is. When I went through every single one of these, and what I want you to do is go back and replay this video, because as each of these tickers I've gone through, you should be able to look at the month and the week and kind of see what the sentiment is. I mean, right now we're sitting here with QQQ, kind of the real body's right smack dab in the middle of the candle. It's a Tuesday, so this to me, with the real body, the open, the close, kind of at the 50% area, like smack dab half in the middle of the candle there, that means that there's some indecision. So we really don't know what's going on yet on the weekly. But if you look at it on the daily, well, we have a lot of downage, and then we have this kind of day where it was more of a consolidation. Monthly just doesn't look good yet. We want to see a shift in the monthly to the upside before we start getting a long sentiment. And again, the same goes with SPY. The same goes with all the other stuff that I had up. Rewatch the video and take a look at sentiment. That way you have an idea of what your bias is going to be when it comes to what you want to play. All right, so with that being said, that's going to wrap up my trade ideas for the day. Again, these are going into 5/11/2022. I hope that you take some of these trades and they make you money. Happy trading. Remember, subscribe to my videos so you get updates like this all the time.